If you don't understand these 5 things about Amazon FBA, don't even think about getting started. What's up guys? Welcome to today's video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Myles and I'm a 7-figure a year Amazon FBA private label seller. If you're interested in learning more about Amazon FBA and private label, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now, like the videos, and leave any comments or concerns you have. I read every single one. And now that I've done this for myself, I'm here to support you in your own FBA journey. So today there's something I need to talk about because I'm seeing this more and more, that people are going into Amazon FBA with these misconceptions and expectations of reality that don't exist. There's so much misinformation and conflicting information out there that I know that for somebody like you, it's really hard to know what to expect and what you're really gonna get out of this. The cold hard truth is that this isn't for everybody. And if you don't understand these things, you're not ready and you could be on the path to failure. And to be brutally honest, failure can mean losing thousands and thousands of dollars. So today I want to completely clear the air about Amazon FBA, what it is versus what it isn't. Is there an opportunity? And by the end of this video, I want you to be able to clearly answer the question, is Amazon FBA for you? And I don't mean to discourage you or to push you away from this because I think the answer can definitely be yes. But you need to know these things and be able to answer that question for yourself. But before we get started, it's a nice day outside, so I was thinking let's do something a bit different, and why don't we go for a walk? So the first thing I want to talk about is cash flow. This business requires money. From the first day that you start until forever, you're going to be putting money in and probably not taking it out. So let me explain. So there are so many hidden costs associated with this business, and you have to pay most of them before you're ever going to get a single dollar back in return. Most people aren't really going to talk to you about these costs, but it doesn't matter whether or not people are going to tell you about them because you're going to have to pay them. So let's go through this from the start. First of all, you have to get samples from suppliers, and you're probably going to have to get multiple as well, so that's going to cost you. Then, if you found the right supplier, you're going to order your product. And it's impossible to say how much that will cost. It really depends on the product. And what if you've identified the perfect product, but the product cost is above your budget? Then either you're going to have to make a suboptimal choice and pick a product that maybe isn't as good, or you're going to have to cut costs somewhere else, unless you have that additional budget to play with. Then once you've got your product in Amazon, you've shipped it, which by the way, you also have to pay for, then you have to launch your product. And so that costs money too, guys. If you want to get your product visible on Amazon, you have to give your units away, probably for free, which means you're not getting any money back from those units, at least at a loss, and at the very best case at break even, so you're not making any profit on those units. And you're probably going to have to pay someone for the privilege of giving your units away too. So then after you've done that and you've paid all that money with nothing in return, then you have to start waiting for organic sales. And then you have to wait for Amazon to pay you out. So that is going to take a lot of time to make that money back. And here's the kicker: if you've done this right, if you've picked the right product and you've launched it correctly, what's going to happen is your sales are going to accelerate, which is great, and you will be making that money with the delay, but then you're going to run out of stock. And so you need to have money already so that you can pay to your supplier, get the next bigger order going, and then get it shipped into Amazon as soon as possible. Because when you run out of stock, then you have to do this relaunch process again, and that costs money. And let's not forget that this is in the best case scenario. So here's the thing, we're always going to plan for the best case, and you know as well as I do how often the best case actually turns out. I think this is a really key point, is that we are always going to assume that the best will happen, but we really need to be planning for the worst if we want to succeed. My first product was a failure. So I made $20 in profit on a $2,500 investment after like 3 months. If that had been my only money, I would have been stuck right there. I would have been clawing my way back to get that initial investment back and to make the 20 bucks. And then who knows what I would have done from there. But I had additional money in reserve. So I'd already started planning and launching my other products, so that even though that product didn't work and I had to drop it, it failed completely, I already had other stuff going, and those next products succeeded. Again, if I didn't have additional money to do that, I would have been stuck behind. And I really can't drive home enough the point that this business is cash intensive from the start until forever. So you're going to be reinvesting. If you want to grow your business and really grow it to a point where you can use it to change your life and have complete financial freedom, you're going to be reinvesting all of those profits for a very long time. So what that means is that maybe you don't need more money for your Amazon business, but you still need money to live. You need to have some sort of other source of income or some other form of savings to be able to do this, because if you're forced to take that money out of your business straight away, I mean, it's great that you're making the money. That is fantastic, and that's an achievement to be proud of. But then taking it out of your business is only going to stunt that growth. So if you want to succeed over a long period of time and you want a sustainable business that's going to make you a lot of money and really grow, and you want to be like this chunk of concrete behind me and just be there for a long time, then start with the resources that you need. Start with, I think, a minimum of $3,000, minimum, no less. And that's not because you're going to spend it all up front. So I'm going to say that one last time. You're not necessarily going to spend all that up front, but you need room for error. And I know that this is uncomfortable for a lot of people who are going to see this, because for most people in the world, $3,000 is a lot of money, and I understand that it is. But here's the thing, you're competing against people who have that $3,000 or more. And those are the people who are spending the money on the right product photography, getting the right products from the right suppliers, doing the launch process, doing everything correctly because they have the resources and they're not afraid to use them. You're competing against them. So if you don't have that or you don't want to use that, then you're at a disadvantage. Think about this like an investment. The more money you put in at the start, the more it's going to pay off later. If right now you don't have that amount of money, then my recommendation is hustle. Go and either start with a different business model that doesn't require so much capital, because there are lots out there, affiliate marketing, drop shipping, etc., or honestly get a job and save up money and do this at a later date. I know I normally say start today, but if you don't have the right resources to start today correctly, then start in the future. Get a job, save up that money, and come back when you can do this properly. And finally, after hearing this, a lot of people will then say, well, you know, can I just do things a bit easier? Can I skimp on the money here and there, make the process a bit simpler, or cut some things out, leave some things out? Yeah, you can, but it's going to be counterproductive. The whole point of this is to reinvest as much as you can at the start, get everything done correctly, and then it pays off over time. If you don't get it done right at the start, it doesn't pay off. So the second thing that you need to know is that it takes time to get started, a lot of time. And you can basically just repeat everything that I just told you about money, replace money with time. Basically, it's the same concept. So you're gonna put in all of this upfront time, figuring out how everything works, watching my face on YouTube, thank you, by the way, you know, contacting suppliers, doing your product research, getting your product to Amazon, launching that product, all of that at the start. Like I said, it doesn't pay you anything, but you have to put in the money and the time. Think about it exactly the same way. It's an investment and it will pay off in the future if you do this right and you put in the right amount of time at the start. Don't try and cut corners. Don't try and be lazy about this, because then you won't succeed. You will fail. Leading on from that, third thing you need to know is that this is not a passive income, at least not for the majority of you, and probably not for a long time. At the start, you're going to be putting in a lot of work, as I just said. You're not going to be getting paid. And then if you want to continue growing, you have to keep going, which means you have to keep doing work. Now, I definitely believe that you should start hiring out as soon as possible. So I wish I'd hired a virtual assistant sooner. I wish I'd started hiring those positions out, customer service, graphics design, all of those things straight away. Again, this depends on the money that you had to start, and there you go, same issue. But realistically, I know plenty of 7-figure sellers, and most of them are working this as a full-time job. I've been very fortunate actually, because I've been able to find a good team, and so I'm lucky enough to not have to work very much for my business. But here's the key thing, somebody is doing those hours. Somebody is working to grow my business. If it's not me, it's somebody else that I'm paying. But in general, I like to think about this as either a semi-passive or an active income that just pays a really great hourly rate. So I think this is actually something that I'm pretty good at, which is outsourcing work that I don't want to do or I don't have the time to do, and finding the right people to do that and building a great team. So I'm going to put out more videos about how you can make your business run easier without most of your input. If you're interested, subscribe so you can be notified when I put that out. So the fourth thing that you have to understand is revenue versus profit. So you're going to see huge numbers all over the internet. People are talking about revenue. And in especially this business, which is very scalable because there are a lot of platforms and services, especially Amazon, that allow you to scale really quickly, they're going to take a huge chunk of that revenue. And what you need to know about, if you're going to make realistic plans and really grow a sustainable business, you need to understand that it's not profits that everyone's talking about, it's revenues. And then revenue minus expenses equals profit. Therefore, understand your expenses, because there are lots. I have made a video where I talk about the profit margins in my business, and what you can expect as well. So check that out here if you're interested. I really recommend it, because at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to understand them. And the last thing is, just realize that the first product is not the be all and end all. It's the start, yes. And for some lucky few, it may be that home run product, but more likely it's going to be a single or a double, and you're going to have to launch more and grow. And that's really not such a bad thing, because that really takes a lot of pressure off you to perform for that first product and to hit a home run. You don't have to. Just think about this like building a brand. Think about the first product as the starting point, the foundation on which you can then build another 5, 10, 20 products, however many it takes. But once you do that, you'll realize that that's like a much lower risk, a much more sustainable way of doing this, because suddenly it doesn't matter if the first one doesn't make you $50,000 a month, because it's probably not going to. But if it makes you $3,000 a month, that's a great start. If you can get 5 of them, $15,000 a month, guys, honestly is a huge amount of money. And it also is a business that enables you to live the dream lifestyle. So don't put all of that expectation on this first product like it is going to be this huge hit. It's a learning opportunity and it's a foundation. Anyway, guys, those are the 5 things that you absolutely need to know before you think about starting Amazon FBA. And I'm not telling you these things to be negative or to discourage you, not at all. I'm just telling you these things because they're the hard and honest truth, and I want you to succeed. I really want you to succeed, but go into it with the right expectations and knowing these things, and I think you're going to do great. So that's about it. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the walk around video. I just got a brand new Sony a6500 and I wanted to take it for a spin. I'm going to put a link below if you want to check it out. Fantastic camera. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you then. Oh yeah, one last thing. Don't forget to subscribe.